Manchester United back in Premier League action this coming Sunday. A difficult away game for Manchester United. Tricky test away at West Ham. Now, West Ham have started okay this season. They're on the same points as Manchester United, and this is going to be a real stern test for Manchester United. It's not like the old days where Manchester United would go into these types of games and expect to claim an easy 3 points. It's just not the case anymore. Manchester United just aren't scoring the goals required to be favourites going into any away game at this moment in time, in my opinion. And it is a real worry, the lack of goals. It really is. We've only scored 1 goal in each of our games apart from that Chelsea game, which is a worry, and that is including missed penalties. So Manchester United have really got to up their game in terms of scoring goals. Someone has really got to take this by the scruff of their neck and start scoring goals. But we are without a number of key players for this game. It is a real blow for Manchester United, but it does potentially give youngsters another opportunity, another crack at the whip, because some of them probably didn't impress enough in that game against Astana to keep their place in the starting lineup. Now, that is not to be negative on these players, but if you are a young player like Marcus Rashford, when he comes through into the first team, you basically have to hit the ground running if you want to get back in the team for the next game. You really do. Older, more experienced players can get away with some bad performances. We've seen the likes of Jesse Lingard perform badly over the last 6 months, and yet time and time again he's still in the team. I don't think Andreas Pereira has been at his best certain games, but still getting in the team. More experienced players will still get in the team when they have bad performances, but young up and coming talent, if you've got to impress when given your opportunity, and I'm not too sure how some of them players performed at a very good level against Astana. It was a young team, and I'm expecting some young players to feature in this game as well, but a lot more of the experienced players will come back as well, because we have got Rochdale on the Wednesday. So we've obviously got to balance the 2 games, and he would probably like to play a similar team from what he hinted in against Rochdale on Wednesday. But the only problem is the injury concerns for Manchester United. So we might end up seeing the likes of Pogba and Marshall come back into the fold for Rochdale and not make this one, which is going to be madness. But they're going to need game time, so they may well feature at some point in that game against Rochdale. But this game against West Ham, we're knowing that probably none of the players are going to return. Maybe Daniel James may return to this team, but besides that, the injured players are still all out. So the back 4 is pretty much going to probably pick itself for Manchester United. He's going to probably bring Ashley Young back in from the start. Obviously, De Gea will be back in goal. Then Wan-Bissaka will go back in at right back, and it will be Lindelof and Maguire again. But he did hint that Tuanzebe could feature in the Premier League if he continues his fine performance he put in against Astana. Although Astana didn't really offer a lot going forward, I still thought Tuanzebe did his job fine, and that's all you can ask for against limited opposition. Just do your job, and I mean, he will get sterner tests to come, but obviously he can only play against who he had in front of him. So in the midfield, it is really tricky for Manchester United. It really is. Personally, I'll probably go. I mean, I just don't know what he's going to go for. Scott McTominay will be in there definitely. Before he went for Matic in there as well, but I would probably go for Fred. Oh my God! But it depends who he's going to play in the more attacking role. Will he keep Gomez in? Maybe Gomez, probably not, because Gomez probably didn't do enough to warrant us another start for Manchester United in this game, but may well get us another start against Rochdale. So he may choose to go for maybe Mata in that sort of number 10ish, an attacking role. I don't know. And then behind, I don't know what the forward line is going to be. I really don't. Probably going to be, if James doesn't make it, it's probably going to be Rashford, Pereira and Greenwood. I just don't. I mean, Chong didn't do enough in that game for me against Astana to keep his place in the starting lineup. Definitely didn't do enough. A lot of people are still thinking that Matic has been poor to keep him in midfield. So it's a real conundrum what he goes for in this game. But if Dan James has got a knock, I wouldn't really want to risk him with there's still games coming thick and fast for Manchester United, because we've still got to get a decent enough team out against Rochdale on Wednesday to put them away. I mean, that Astana game on paper, most people thought that it was going to be a team that we were going to swat aside, but they sat deep, and it was a job to break them down. And we may need another game. It may be another game against Rochdale where we need a moment of brilliance, moment of magic, and we may have to rely on that from the likes of Dan James. So I wouldn't want him to get injured, because we've got other games, Premier League game again next weekend, and we go again. So I wouldn't want players to come back too quick and to risk getting injured for longer periods. But this is going to be a real test with these players injured. I mean, we may well see the likes of Chong and Gomez feature on the substitutes bench again and come on in this game, because the options on the substitutes bench, if Dan James isn't fit, we've got Anthony Martial out and Paul Pogba out. That's three massive. I mean, Martial and Dan James have scored a good chunk of Manchester United's goals this season. So this is a real concern for Manchester United. We haven't really got any options on the substitutes bench to come into the team if the likes of Greenwood are now starting for Manchester United, which I do actually think they deserve the opportunity to start, even if Dan James is back for this game. But if Dan James is back for this game, he will probably go with Pereira, James and Rashford as the front three. But I think that he's done enough to get in ahead of Pereira now in the Manchester United first 11. Greenwood, I think, with that goal, I just think that he's a better player than Pereira. I really do. He offers much more goal threat going forward. He's exciting to watch. He didn't have probably his greatest game against Astana, but he is a massive goal threat for Manchester United. Had a great chance early on in that game, which he could have scored, which was just wide. And to be honest, I think he is a very clinical striker. I really do think that can play in all three front positions, can also play number 10, and I'm really excited to see him. But he may choose to obviously play Pereira in this game and then give him a 90 minutes against Rochdale. But you know, the guy is still 17 years of age, but I think he could well play against West Ham and then against Rochdale. I really do. I think he is capable of doing that, and it will be exciting to see if he does feature from the start in this game. It will be his first Premier League start of the season if he does do that. Now, West Ham, they've got a new centre forward up front. I think his name's Haller, I don't know how you pronounce it. French guy, scored I think about 3 and 4 games for West Ham. I haven't seen too much of him play, but he scored some goals, so that is positive for West Ham and could be a threat for Manchester United. They've also got Felipe Anderson, who Manchester United were linked with, did score against us last season, could cause Manchester United some problems. So they've got some players going forward. Obviously they've got another player that we're linked with in midfield, Declan Rice. They've got Lanzini. So they've got options. They're no pushovers, West Ham. And I think this is going to be a real difficult game for Manchester United. I think we are going to struggle to beat these. I mean, I can't see West Ham being so defensive as Astana were in the week. So if West Ham do come out a bit more, it may play into Manchester United's hands. If we can get the pace, I mean, of Rashford, and whether it's James or Greenwood. I mean, Greenwood isn't as fast as James, so we probably won't have and there's no Martial, so we probably won't have that frightening pace on the counter attack. But I'm hoping these players can still. I mean, if West Ham go at us, it is still a good opportunity to play on the counter attack, because it seems that is probably our best form. I'm still not sure what identity Manchester United have, but I mean, we're not going to dominate and score loads. This team isn't designed to go out there and smash teams away 4 or 5-0. It just isn't designed that way at this moment in time. The team just isn't good enough. We haven't got enough creativity in midfield, and the forwards aren't scoring the goals. We haven't got the goal scorers that we had of yesteryear. So I think this is going to be a very difficult test for Manchester United. And I think, sadly, Manchester United are going to draw this game. I'm going to go for Manchester United drawing. I think 1-1 would be my score prediction for this. But as I've said before, I would just take anything. A 1-0 victory would make me very, very happy from this game. I mean, in the last couple of games, we've defended pretty decent. Astana didn't really offer a lot going forward. Leicester weren't too clever going forward either, but we still nullified the threats from them teams. So that was positive. Manchester United can keep another clean sheet. That would be real positivity, because we need to rack up them clean sheets. If we can rack up them clean sheets, then we do know that a moment of brilliance from Dan James, if he plays Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford or whoever else, a moment of brilliance could decide this game and Manchester United could win it 1-0 again, and I will be delighted with that. It will breed the confidence, and if we can just keep that winning mentality going, however we get the victory, even if it's a 1-0 own goal, as long as we keep winning, that will bring the confidence back. And then hopefully eventually, when all the players are fit, we can maybe, against lesser opposition, maybe against the likes of Rochdale, we can put 2 or 3 past them sort of teams. and then the confidence really will flow. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the game, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.